Hello and welcome to Storylines Women's Cricket Podcast. We are at the end of the ICC Women's Group stages in the World Cup. We're at the end of the semi-finals, and that's why I am beaming. You can't see me, of course, but you can hear my lovely co-host Melissa story as well. Well, what a day in women's cricket yesterday.
I mean, first of all, just what a knockout stage because this World Cup at times has not quite had that oomph factor. There's been some really exciting games in the group stages. There's been some wobbles when those probably underdog teams have caused a bit of trouble for those bigger sides. But the weather's had a bit of an impact. It's kind of put a downer on things. Forget all that. South Africa, England, first of all, what a game, because I know you're excited to get on to India, Australia, but we're going to do South Africa, England first. And I'm just saying now, from the moment Laura Wolvaardt hit that first boundary,
What a shot that was!
I just went, oh no.
So I woke up, I literally just rolled over in bed, and I've been bed rotting the whole week because I had it off, and set my alarm, turned the television on, right, first over, and I see that shot, and actually no, I just know the toss news, and I think I messaged you, I WhatsApped you being like, uh-oh, South Africa batting first, this might go England's way, just because the South Africa hadn't won a single game in this tournament batting first, and that first game against England they batted first, and then the other game they had against was Australia? I think it was Australia, where they I think it was Australia now off the top of my head. There's been so many games, but yeah, they've lost their matches where they've had to set a target. So I
Can
saw
I
that.
just correct the exact messages received was insert swear word, England will win this, South Africa batting first. And then 3 hours later, bro, I've been jumping up and down. What an innings.
You've kind of forgotten to mention the one that you replied with, being like, "Wanna rethink this? Kiss, kiss, kiss."
I mean, let's talk about Laura Wolvaardt because it truly was just a sensational innings, and she is a fantastic player, but that is one of those innings which you just feel, you know, in the moment she just stepped up and she will reflect on that across her entire career and just I mean, I'm not even sure as a player of that level what must be going through your mind and the mindset you must be in when you're so engaged and so locked in that you can score 169 runs off a whole 143 balls in a World Cup semi-final when there is so much pressure on your side to essentially not mess it up.
Yeah, and I don't want to use the word, but South Africa have got a history with the C word when it comes to those high pressure state games. And the way she just led the side, and she's 26, 5,000 ODI runs, and she's only 26. But the way she played that knock, it was like she's been playing ODI cricket for years. For years, and especially the acceleration that happened from that 40th over to the 46th over when she got out, she just took England apart. Like, Sophie Ecclestone just did not know where to bowl to her because it wasn't just the offside that we know that she's so strong in. She played two sort of innings in that knock of 100. That first half where she was just playing her normal strengths that we know that she's so good at, through the offside, cutting down the ground, whatever. And then she accelerated when she knew they had to try and get as many as they could on the board. And she completely shuffled onto the off stump and then accessed the leg side. But it was crazy. Like, I went upstairs just to, like, I was like, oh, let me just check the score, and I was doing some random housework, and I just sat on my bed. I was like, oh, I'll watch one over. I watched the end of the innings. I was like, what is going on? And I got very excited. I started tweeting and everything, and I don't tweet often. I was like, what an innings.
I mean, as you say, wickets did begin to crumble at the other
Hmm.
end, and that's probably when that switch came in because she added 69 runs in 28 balls, started slog sweeping Lindsay Smith, and actually it was perfect timing for South Africa. Not perfect timing when anyone on 160 odd gets out, but actually with Nadine de Klerk able to come in, she hit 16 off the penultimate over and essentially made Lauren Bell, who's one of the best death bowlers in the competition, look entirely ineffective as well. And you could just see that panic setting in, which is entirely understandable when a team is posing a total that large for you to chase. And by no means has England's journey through this World Cup been perfect, or probably made the spectator feel overly confident in how they were going to fare in this semi-final, because I think lots of people were kind of almost hoping that this semi-final for England would bring out that perfect performance. It didn't. It brought out South Africa's perfect performance. It wasn't England's worst as well. Putting that in mind, like I think there was only there was a drop catch from Charlie Dean, which was certainly a chance gone down, but other that kind of catches didn't just quite go to handle. They were landing in no man's land. It just was one of those days where South Africa's 319 for seven, second highest World Cup total in a knockout game. And I think at that stage, England just knew they weren't going to chase it down.
Yeah, and it really did show in their body language. And to think of the first game, England South Africa, where England gave South Africa a right thumping, this is by no means anything less in the semi final. Like, this is a proper thumping 319 and then 194 all out. And just the way South Africa and Marizanne Cap came in with the ball, it was just so exciting. Sorry, I've jumped ahead and you're pointing things.
No, no, don't. I mean, this was the second point of confusion, which is where I then started running into work to get a train into the office, saw a graphic saying 1 for 3 and thought, well, someone's messed up there because why are they using the Australian scoring system? And also, I was like, so what? We've lost an opener early. Like, our openers haven't been that great across the competition anyway. Sat down on the train, checked the scorecard. No, England were 1 for 3. And as you say, it was Cap with a double wicket maiden, bowled Amy Jones with a nip backer, which was a very good delivery. Then Heather Knight's shot to get out was just flailing at one. Outside the off stump, chopped onto the stumps, and then Tammy Beaumont's shot probably being the most indicative shot of a player out of form I've seen, because she looked so uncomfortable playing in it. It's one where if you freeze the frame just the moment after she edged the ball, you just go, I don't think that's in any coaching book. I don't even think that's in some kind of indie coaching book. I don't think that's in Steve Smith's coaching book, to be honest with you. It was disastrous, and even though there was that bit of a rebuild, and from a positive side for England, if you can say, obviously Siva Brunt yet again being that source of hope for a period of time with her 64. Really impressed by Alice Capsey as well, who got moved to that number 5 spot, came away with a half century, but with that start, the top 3 getting ducks, there was not really any way coming back for England, and it's such a disappointing fizzle for them. But they came up against Laura Wolvaert on fire and a Marizanne Cap on fire with 5 for 20.
Yeah, it was just a crazy performance also with the ball from South Africa. And I think obviously mentally as well, when you're already 1 for 3, that's going to make a huge impact. That rebuild that we saw between Alice Capsey and Nat Sciver-Brunt was encouraging, but also I'm like, how much will Nat Sciver-Brunt have to bear on her own? That's a lot, right? So like you would need 2 centurions and someone then to go and contribute with a 40 or a 60 down the order. And it just seemed, yeah, once South Africa got in early, they were right up there. It was such a good game of cricket to watch. Like, for the semi finals to become like this level of competition, and South Africa really, we've spoken across the last few games, and whilst you and I have both been commentating on these matches as well, that they just seem to be finding their flow and their rhythm, and the peak is coming at the right time. They've peaked. And now I think on Sunday's game against India, it's going to be a good game, because I think, firstly, both those sides thoroughly deserve it. There'll be a new winner in women's ODI cricket, and I think that's something that everyone needs to see, but also just from a point of view of for the game, for women's cricket in India, which we'll obviously come to discuss once we speak about the other semi-final, but also for South African cricket. And they've won the World Test Championship this year with the men's stuff. And if the women can also come and put their mark, I think it's just so good for cricket, and it just makes me happy. I shed a tear. I was sat in the car at Sainsbury's whilst the last bit of the match was going on, the South Africa game, and I was like, I can't go. I need to go buy some chickpeas, but I'm not going to get my chickpeas. I need to watch the game. I want to see the celebration. I was here to see the celebration and the tears, and I'm sat in the car watching it, and I'm like streaming.
I mean, as you say, there's heartbreak from the 2017 semi-final, the 2022 semi-final for South Africa, and you have a player with Marizanne Kapp, who became the leading wicket taker of all time in 50 over World Cups for South Africa. This might be her last
It's
50 over
her
World
fifth,
Cup.
right? Her fifth World Cup, I believe. That's what I heard on television.
And I mean, Laura Wolvaardt, she's scored over 5,000 runs for South Africa. Again, she'll probably be looking back on that innings and go, well, yeah, I quite liked those 169 of them. I'll remember them. But as you say, they're a scrappy side. They deserve to be there. And the only thing before we move on to India Australia, I hope, is that whatever happens on Sunday, South Africa's women have proven themselves time and time again now in these last few World Cups that they are one of the best sides in the world, and they are performing at this level with a significantly lower amount of domestic cricket, of financial backing, and showing upsides like England, I strongly believe. Because when you compare the resources available between the cricket boards and the attention their teams get, just Cricket South Africa, whatever happens, you need to provide your women's players with a more comprehensive and
Yeah.
reliable structure off the back of this, even if they don't win against India. And you know what? They're going into that final, again, I would say as underdogs because you are up against the might of the BCCI, who have a women's Premier League and so much cash being injected into the game. I mean, I
They
just would
need
be
to
so disappointed if South Africa didn't take this as seriously as you say as the World Test Championship win for the men and going, well, look, Test cricket does matter for the women's. This depth does matter because go 5 years down the line and a lot of those players are, going to have moved on. Who's going to be your next Marizanne Kapp? Probably Nadine de Klerk, but then who's going to be your next Nadine de Klerk? Either way,
have the pathway for that to develop. And the one more thing I wanted to add on Laura Wolvaart's innings, though, was that I think the eyeballs that innings got from just around the globe, if you looked on social media, looked on all your different platforms, she's set the benchmark that that sort of cricket, that level of entertainment in women's cricket is possible. And I know I made a tweet and you messaged me, you were like, oh, I'm not sure how this is going to get like interpreted. But I think the level of consistency that she, especially in that from the 40th over till when she got out, she literally was what was the word? She was so consistent at that pace of the 5-6 overs that you don't actually see so often in the women's game. When we speak about in Australia, yes, we can see it, but Australia have that depth. Now, if we had to put Australia aside, from South Africa, from an England, from India as well, leave aside the semi-final because that was just something else that I think everyone was just gobsmacked about that chase. That she's set the standard and shown that it's possible, and I think how entertaining she made it as well. You will get bums on seats in women's cricket if you can consistently perform at that level. And it's exciting to think actually 5 years down the line, 7 years down the line, if the standard of women's cricket as a whole becomes of a Laura Wolvaardt-esque, then we're in for some really good entertainment. And broadcast's going to make some money.
I mean, they are certainly the amount of ads which are going to be run as well. But it was, as you say, remarkable innings. Okay, I've made you wait long enough, Nikki. India, Australia. We've only got about 7, 8 minutes left of this podcast. We're keeping it snappy. That was one of the greatest games of cricket I have seen. One of the most privileged, probably, moments of my commentary career to call that winning moment. And my hands were shaking, my legs were shaking. I thought I was going to cry as Harmanpreet broke down, when Jemima Rodriguez broke down, because that win is so significant. Australia are the 7 times world champions. Like, to be able to
It's
overcome
a
them.
record chase in women's cricket.
Exactly, in a record chase when it looked backs against the wall. If anyone is asking how do you play 50 over cricket, how do you chase down a score in 50 over cricket, India showed how to do that perfectly, absolutely perfectly. I mean, I know we're going to have to start at the beginning with Australia and actually, that fantastic innings from Phoebe Litchfield, because
Oh, what a
it
knock.
was just it's really similar to the group stage game between Australia and India, where I think it was Kim Garth bowled the first over and Pratika Rawal just smacked some fours, and I went, this pitch is going to do nothing for the bowlers. This is a 300 plus pitch. It was the exact same in reverse when Renika Singh Thakur bowled her first over. and just there was nothing. Australia just went bam, and I went, oh no, oh, I wouldn't want to be a bowler today. But she just looked amazing, and I feel this is the thing with
Which
this Australian team. The
that's the
switch hit for
word.
six.
Oh my god. I was like, KP who?
Sorry,
Okay.
I zoned out entirely then because I got sent an email on my work laptop and my mind went into panic mode. I literally was
I thought I said something wrong.
like, no, what did you say?
I was like, KP who?
I mean, she's just so impressive, and the thing
22.
with this Australian side is that someone will always get 100. Alyssa Healy coming back from injury didn't quite look in fine form. She was dropped by Harmanpreet, the dolliest of all dollies, and then fortunately for Harmanpreet and for India, it wasn't too costly as she was dismissed for five. But then you had this period of the game where again, it was perfectly illustrated by Australia. How do you bat in 50 over cricket? Look at that partnership between Litchfield and Perry. I left the commentary box for about an hour to go see a friend and came back and nothing had changed. Nothing. And at that stage, we were thinking, India is so screwed, but actually, they really pulled things back. And although Ash Gardner came in and played that brilliant innings of 63 off 45, it was just like so evenly poised weirdly. And I don't think I've ever got to the end of a game where a team's hit over 300 and gone, well, there's maybe a bit of a chance, but I think when you pick up early wickets towards the end of an innings and bowl a side out, it would have given India so much more of a boost as compared to if Australia had ended 338, for six or something. But running through the tail, who we know are very capable of scoring runs, and actually restricting them in the end to 338. At one stage, their projected score was around 400. Like, it
I
could have
know.
been disastrous.
Yeah, I saw that, but I think it started off like with Phoebe Litchfield taking the momentum, and then when India started to get those breakthroughs, they kind of were stoppy starty, but it then managed to rein things in, which I think. What was I going to say? Yeah, I once it managed to rein things in, so it did look scary at first because I thought the way Phoebe Litchfield was batting that she was gonna get them close to 400, and I was like, India won't be able to chase it down. It will just be like that scoreboard pressure as well. But the way they managed to claw things back pretty tightly and towards the end of that was pretty impressive, and it was also in terms of wickets. What Deepthi Sharma picking up a couple, Sri Charani picking up a couple. I think that wicket, though, to dismiss Alyssa Healy first up, the one by Kranti Gord, um, I'm getting confused, aren't I? No, I'm getting confused. Sorry, I was going to talk about Smriti Mandhana's wicket. That's not the wicket. We can move on because I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy.
You're losing your mind. I mean,
I
as you
lose
say,
my
there's a really good bowling performance. God, I don't know what
mind.
accent that was. Balere.
We're moving
um,
on. It's been
um,
great.
really good bowling performance from Sri Charani, who I think has been
Mm.
the standout for India across this competition. Not only is she getting those crucial wickets, but she's remaining economical. And I think India having the six bowling options has looked like such a better side in
They
comparison to the team they were putting out with only five options plus Harmanpreet as a sixth at the start of the tournament. Because when you have a bowler like Kranti Gaud who's had a bad day, well, it's fine because even though she was going at close to tens, you've got a Radagalev, you've got an Amanjot Kaur who can step up and fill that role. So 2 wickets for Deepti, 2 wickets for Sri Charani. Should we
Renika
move on to that run chase?
Yeah, we will. But I was going to say, Renika Singh, even though she'd been bowling so well throughout the tournament and she had the ability to pick up a few early wickets, she didn't manage to contribute in the wickets column. But the way they managed to just draw it back, especially like you said with Sri Charani, and she just kept so cool. Like always had a smile on her face, and it was um it was nice to see that they got that balance in sync with that six bowler.
I must say though, India's fielding, there were some moments of brilliance, but the fact there was eight overthrows, two overthrows which went for four, I thought Harmanpreet's head was going to explode. I was like, how is she keeping her cool right now? It was sloppy, and the whole time we were
There
thinking,
were
you
moments where
can't beat Australia when you're that sloppy.
There were moments when the fielding was good, right? And you had the Jemima Rodriguez direct hit run out, and you were like, wow, that's top stuff. And then you were like, huh? Am I like watching Sunday club cricket? That ball has just looped over the keeper's head. Richa Ghosh is like scrambling to jump in the air, and she's like got no hope. I'm like, there's literally, I was like, you can't do such like an elite piece of fielding like that, and then just do something that's literally like below the ground.
Right, run chase. Shafali Verma was back into the side. Honestly, I thought she was just going to chase it down herself the way she started in that first over. Absolutely crunched one through extra cover, and I went, oh, she's back. Shafali's back. No, next ball, Kim Garth trapped in front. The most blatantly middle of middle, I'm pretty sure, review ever sent upstairs.
I was
But
very
none.
confused by that one. I was like, I get that they would want an opening partnership, but Smriti Mandana at non-strikers then, mate, you knew that was plum. Like,
I just think maybe she was going, oh, but that's my mate from the T20 side. Like, let's give her a go. Come on, I'd love her to get some runs. But it was pretty much, I hate to call 24 a failure, but from Smriti Mandana's standards, it's a bit of a failure in the sense that the two openers kind of went cheaply. India were
but
59
that's
for
the
two.
help of a review from Melissa Healy. Like, it helps that she's keeper plus captain. But Smriti Mandana literally looked so shocked that she even had the faintest of tickle on it. And I I give Alyssa Healy so much credit for actually sticking with that and her gut instinct to go upstairs, because otherwise the form that Mandana's been in, well, that could have been a different innings altogether.
It could have, but then came the partnership between Jemima Rodrigues, Harmanpreet Kaur. It was a really interesting one because Jemima Rodrigues had already started her innings, and then actually when Harmanpreet came on, it was the classic Harmanpreet start where she looked a little bit sketchy, and then all of a sudden accelerated out of nowhere, almost overtook Jemima Rodrigues, but then the moment she was dismissed, pulling a ball up in the air, brilliant catch from Ash Gardner sprinting in. And my favourite part of that catch was Ash Gardner was smiling, eyes on the ball, smiling, because she was almost celebrating the wicket before she'd even caught this brilliant running, diving catch. But she just knew that she couldn't put that opportunity down. However, Australia went on to drop two more catches, which I don't think I've ever. And these are two lives for Jemima Rodrigues. Two drops I never thought I would ever see an Australian player make with Alyssa Healy and Talia McGrath.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Alyssa Healy catch. I was like, she's got gloves. That catch, she would be
That's a big
taking.
fine.
She's literally she'd be taking that in her sleep, and I think I think everyone who probably saw that thought, wait, that can't be real. Like, come on, that was like, like just that was fake. That did not happen, because how she put that down, and I think just the mere reaction from every single Australian on that field were like, what just happened? Like, have we just dropped the World Cup? Have we? Like, and I think that catch, you would say that was the catch that they had to get. The other one, though, I think I messaged you at this point when that partnership between Harmanpreet and Jemima came to an end. Was Harmanpreet? I'm gonna be mean and tough here, but she really should have seen that shot. Was it necessary to go aerial at that point? She won 89. Like, I just I thought at that point she gets those starts, and then when she gets into the 70s, 80s, we have seen that tendency where she gives that wicket away. And I think the way they're taking it, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to take this deep, they're going to take this deep, and then I was expecting both to get a century. And when Harmanpreet got out, I did turn off the television for a bit because I got a bit nervous. And I was like, I don't know if I can deal with this. I was like, I'm not sure if I can deal with this. And I was like, oh. So I turned it off because it also annoyed me. I was like, how could you get out? And then I was like dipping in and out for the rest when in comes Dipti Sharma, 24 of 17, and Richa Ghosh as well, 26 of 16. And I think as much of the credit has gone to Jemima, the role that those two played coming in is completely gone under the carpet here. And they were so crucial, because especially Richa Ghosh, 26 of 16, came in, and she she really just helped bring that momentum, and it complemented the way Jemima was playing.
I mean, as you know, we know what happened after that. Amazing scenes, emotional scenes, and I
So
think from a South African point of view, they've probably been doing their prep to play Australia on Sunday, and they were probably watching, going, well, this is obviously objectively, they'd rather play India. But would you rather play an India that fired up? I don't know, because the emotions and which India are going to have to feel and embrace and make the most of, but then very quickly put to one side because there's still a bigger job to be done.
And
There's
can I
just
just
such a
say,
fantastic narrative going into this final, and I cannot wait.
I know, and it was just the crowd, Navi Mumbai. It was packed. The stadium was blue. It had chanting. You could hear India, India. And I just think, from an Indian point of view, an Indian fans' point of view, lots of friends, people who don't watch a lot of women's cricket, but to know there was 1.5 billion people watching those 11 girls on the pitch at the DY Patil Stadium yesterday, it was just something so special. And I think it's such an instrumental, is that a word, instrumental moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, instrumental moment. Look at me and my vocabulary in the women's game, and also within India. Yes, they've got the WPL, but I think it's going to change a lot in terms of how um, families and how it's viewed culturally as well. Yes, the WPL's given it its boost, but to see innings like that, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to let my child go and be the next Jemima. And I think that's going to be so, so huge. But actually, like a little bit daunting for the for other countries to think, actually, there's already a lot of talent here, and now if more people are going to pick up the bat, pick up the ball, what height is Indian cricket going to go to? And then it was just all the emotions at the end, and I think that's a difference, right? When you watch men's cricket and you see like World Cup finals or semi-finals, and when it's a moment of a knockout, and you see emotions there, but like you don't see all this like as many tears. And I just thought it was so so cute.
Nikki, regardless, there is going to be so many more on Sunday because, as you said
I
at the start of
know.
the podcast, a new champion is going to be crowned. I'm
But
going to be locked in.
I know, but you see tears, but you don't see them as much on show. And I know, like Jemima spoke about it, that she's been having a tough time over the course of the World Cup, and she's oh, one sec, my laptop's. Where's my mouse? I lost my mouse. Yeah, sorry. Jemima's been speaking about it. She's had a tough time. She's been crying nearly every day, suffering from anxiety, and for her to come out and speak about what this meant for her, saying it wasn't about her 50 or 100, but it's about getting India over the line. And because they've had that history of losing in these crunch games so many times, that she saw her role as that. And also, apparently she went in to have a shower during the innings break, came out, and then got told she was batting three, so she had no idea where she was batting. Like, that's crazy. But to go out there, get dropped from the side during the semi-final stage, then come back in and play an innings like that, dude, like my Instagram is absolutely full of pictures of Jemima Rodriguez, and as it should be. I can't wait for Sunday. I'm going to be messaging the hell out of you, so you better put your phone on do not disturb.
Well, on that note, we will be back after Sunday's final with a post-match debrief. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Storylines, and you'll have a very excited Nikki and Melissa back with you after the final. Bye.